Namaskar, Sasyakal, Adab, and good evening to everyone at Motherhood Club. Today is Friday, the second Friday of the month. Every second Friday of the month, we bring in who someone who is making a difference to the society, the heroes or the sheroes who are doing work not because they are looking for name fame, or someone who has a journey which they have walked by themselves to achieve something in life. Today, yet again, there is a very, very strong and a powerful lady who is here with us. But before I actually introduce her, I want to read out a few lines for her. They say that the setting of the sun is a guarantee of the upcoming moon. Setting of the sun is a guarantee of the upcoming moon, a morning filled with hope, positivity, and a new life, as the next day the sun is again going to rise. And the tribes of India shall for sure rise when we know that Ananya Paul Dodmani is standing by their side. Need she need any more introduction? This is Ananya Paul Dodmani, founder of Tribal Connect, doing so much for the tribal community in the northeastern part of our country, working tirelessly, effortlessly, with not even an ounce of tiredness on her face ever, who never gives up. Of course, she has her moments where she is dull, she is sad, but the very next second she bounces back and realizes that she cannot stay like that forever. She has many accolades to her credit. Rex Karamveer in 2019 being felicitated for being an amazing mom, not just to her own biological child, but many other children. Ananya has been working extensively day and night to support all of those who are impacted by the floods that have come in Assam. She works extensively in the space of education, criminal psychology, and a lot many other hats this Wonder Woman wears. So, very warm welcome, Ananya Paul Dodmani, to Motherhood Club Feature Friday. How are you doing?
Doing extremely good. And the name of the organization, Motherhood Club, it kind of, that kind of gives me a lot of inspiration. I don't want to sound biased, but being a mother is itself being in a position of power, because I feel when a woman is a mother, biological or otherwise, in any other form, be it a surrogation, adoption, your own biological kid, if you are a mother, you are bound to make an impact. And mothers are always in a power position. So, I'm so glad to be in a space which, where you encourage mothers to come forward to have their voices, because most of the time it happens that when we are raising our kids, the mother's voice becomes takes a back seat. So here is an organization, working and bringing the voices of the mothers forward. And I'm so lucky to be here in this space. Thank you so much, Ektadi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ananya. Thank you so much. Ananya is like a little sister to me. In a very short span, the connect that has been built not just between Ananya and myself or Ananya and Ela, but also between Tribal Connect and Motherhood Club. Before we dive deep into Ananya's life journey, let me also let all our members know that she has been distributing sanitary pads on behalf of Motherhood Club in the tribal areas. And we also had the good fortune, to be able to raise some funds for the flood impacted people. Whatever little, I would say it was just a drop in the ocean. But as Ananya says, that even that little drop makes a whole lot of a difference. So, Ananya, let me take you to your childhood. How was your childhood? And how were your growing years?
See, I'm born and brought up in a small tribal town in Assam, like where 80% of the people are tribals. Is it basically a small tribal railway town? Like it is the headquarters of the railways which connects the northeastern part Assam with other states. Actually, so it's a small tribal town, yet a busy town in terms of railways. So. So basically, both my parents were working, and so most of the time, as usual, because in the school also you have your friends who are tribals, teachers who were tribals. So kind of a situation where I was always exposed to the tribal culture. At that time, I have never thought myself someone different from their community or some because when your friends are from a certain community, you always try you kind of identify with that community, and also because my people at home like nanny and the people who used to take care of the house when my parents were out mostly were tribals. So I was kind of exposed to the tribal culture much before even I could understand in a conscious level. So that's how the tribal culture was ingrained in me since childhood, and probably I'm lucky and blessed to have been born in a situation where I could be in a better position uh, to have coordinated things and kind of work with the community. Because I believe if I would have been born in a privileged space, maybe in some big city or something, it would have been difficult for me to relate to the situations that are actually in the ground zero. So childhood was pretty simple, going to school, coming back, and because the whole neighborhood was full of tribal kids who couldn't afford to go to school, my job was to get them home, teach them three things: just to write their names and understand what is written in the Indian in the Indian currency notes denomination, and what is written in the billboards. Like if you go to a railway station, bus stop, you should read what is written on that billboard. So my basic agenda was like my small brain always felt if I can do three things, like let them write their names and do just teach them some basic mathematics and just read what is written in the billboards, I would be probably changing their lives. But that I started pretty much when I was in eighth grade. I was in eighth grade at that time. But then I slowly realized this is not going to create larger impact, because I was only being able to get maybe 12 or 15 kids, and then some people, adults also, who were keen to learn. So but the bigger scenario started when I went to college, because that was the time when I kind of started talking to student bodies, associating with different organizations, taking bigger projects. Like that was when I realized that we need to work collectively. Individual actions may create an impact consistently, but to make a bigger change, we need to take collective actions. So that's how when I was in college, I started to talk to the cultural bodies, student bodies. I remember I was like someone who used to play football with boys and like kind of thing. So and also I was very inclined culturally, also cultural programs. Like I used to go to dance classes. So used to arrange small events, and then used to do some kind of fundraising by and doing some charity programs, charity events, and then collect some money, and then kind of do something for the community. So that's how it started, and we are still I'm still on it.
Wonderful. Awesome. So Ananya was just 8, where she thought that teach basic English, basic maths, and that's good enough. I read an article on Ananya which said that she thought कि English maths थोड़ा बहुत basic कर लेंगे तो हो गया, there'll be like a change in the mindset. She'll be able to create that impact. But soon she realized that there is a lot more that needs to be done. And then she grew older, started connecting, collaborating, So I think, Ananya, at a very young age, you figured it out that networking, collaboration is the way forward. Stand alone, you can only do this much. Thereafter, you need to have your allies in place. चाइल्डहुड वॉज कंफर्टेबल, आपका बचपन जैसे था बाकी बच्चों का, आप एक ट्राइबल कम्युनिटी को बिलोंग करते हैं, आप बड़े हुए, आपने पढ़ाई की, आप कॉलेज गए, बट समथिंग हैपेंड, राइट, which brought a huge change in your life. Please share something about that.
So I was already working with the tribal communities, and I'm a non-tribal. I'm not a tribal person. So what happens is, see, when you are working in a tribal domain, you have to know a little, some things to be put right is you have to understand the local language. You have to understand what kind of what they are trying to connect with, and you have to be a local person yourself. Okay, so in spite of me not being tribal, because I'm
But
born
not
and
in
my
Project.
family, yeah,
Yes.
born and brought up there, and my parents are like, uh, my forefathers, they were all from northeast. So we, as I'm an ethnically a Bengali, but all my people are from Northeast. So we connect to Northeast as a family. And my father's business and my mom's into business and all of that. So all everything was pretty much in Northeast. So and when I was growing up, my father suddenly got kidnapped uh, in a northeastern town, well at work actually. And that was the time he was tortured. He was beaten for almost 5 to 7 days, almost 5 days, I think. And he on the fifth day he trained heavily, and he kind of escaped from that place. He jumped from the third floor, and that day what happened was the terrace door was open. So the people who took him away were like fully drunk, and they didn't realize the terrace door was open. So at night, what happened? They slept off after drinking, and my father, finally jumped from the third floor, and really he just ran almost 20-25 kilometers in the forest to reach the nearest railway station to come home the next day. But those 5 days was pretty difficult. Like I'm saying it so easily right now, but we don't have brothers. I'm the elder daughter. My younger sibling is like 7 years younger to me. So we were both very young, and my mom was like, she couldn't process what was happening, because at that time during the 90s, it was not only my father, kidnapping people for money was pretty much prevalent. Like it was not something which we don't see. Okay, and it would happen to people who are more in a power of privilege, in a position of privilege, or in a position of more politically powerful. Okay, so it was nothing very new to us. We could hear all about this when you used to go to school. Someone is being taken away, someone is being killed. Northeast was a very difficult place to be in the 80s and the 90s.
Right.
So it was nothing very uncommon. But you, as you say, no, आपके घर के अंदर मतलब आग जब तक नहीं लगता है ना, तब तक आप दूसरों के घर में आग लगा ही रहता है. हम क्या करते हैं, आग लगता है तो हम पानी देने का कोशिश करते हैं, लेकिन आग कहाँ से लगा है, रूट कॉज क्या है, हम वी डोंट गो एंड enquire until unless it comes to our own house. Okay, so similar situation हमारा साथ भी हुआ था. After papa came back, he had a you know like a chain of heart attacks, like multiple heart attacks. He went to coma, and life was very difficult for us. Like mom was like my ma was so traumatized by the whole thing. She like for us going outside to school, or probably getting a little late for the tuitions, used to disturb her. So I've seen things changing at home, and not very, like when Baba used to go out, Ma used to go on constantly, trying to inquire where is he going and why is he not returning back home. Like the situation was very difficult, and at that time I knew that if I always understood that education is only one thing that will help the northeastern region from getting brainwashed from the outside forces. And because it is a border area, it is northeast is fully, just share border with so many countries. A lot of things tends to happen. See, I always say, I see, no person is a born criminal, but when you don't have food to bring to your table, when you don't have food to give to your family, you tend to do something for money. Okay. And that is the time when people from outside, who are like eyeing on our country, tends to take advantage of the situation. So if you are educated, I thought, if you are educated, people cannot brainwash you easily. So you will have a little bit structured livelihood kind of thing, where you don't have to do things which are unconstitutional, in terms of money. So my work started, taking. I was very aggressive with the work I was doing. Before, I used to be like little, kind of going on a slow pace, probably trying to arrange funds and all of those. But then I started talking to different people, different clubs, organizations, mm, well in college, and started to now when people see me, when I say that I run 146 learning centers absolutely for free, like food is given thrice a day, and education is free. See, if they look at me like that, and they think I'm so young, and how can a woman single-handedly build 146 learning centers? But it has, like, for me, the journey has started when I was in college. I started talking to different people, started taking classes under the banyan tree, in the makeshift tents, in the Gramburas. The Grambura is the village headman. Okay. So the village headman, I used to go and talk to the Grambura, arrange some place there in his veranda, and get the kids, even the adults, to come and talk to the local people and see whether we can teach them something, some counseling. So that's how things started falling in place. And the first place that I started my learning center was the same place where my dad was taken away. Because I knew this was the place, you have to first cleanse. Yeah, because this is not going to work like this. Only when education is accessible to everyone, when food is accessible to everyone, things will be definitely changing. And that's how now, the first learning center was in this place where my dad was taken away. And trust me on these are the same people now who call me granny. I've talked to this in a lot of interviews. They call me granny. These villagers, the entire northeast, wherever I work, they call me Fee. Fee is a granny in a local language. So, that was a different journey altogether. But I believe, अगर तभी उस सिचुएशन में हम एज ए फैमिली एक्सपोज नहीं हुए होते, probably I would have taken it easy. I would have done some 9 to 5 job, or probably sometimes when I have would have had some free time, तभी जाके कुछ community work करती होती थी मैं. But with this incident, I have taken this full time. And now both my parents have passed away last year, both of them in a gap of only 7 months. But I still feel they are kind of around with the kind of work I do. Uh,
Absolutely. I didn't interrupt you at all because was having goosebumps hearing all that you were sharing. To have been through that trauma where your father was taken away, and I'm sure he would have been tortured, and luck was on his side that he was able to run away and escape and come back home. And then with the series of health issues, multiple heart attacks, being in coma, I relate to that part at least because my father was also in a state of coma for many years. uh, and to actually start your work from that very place, I think is it's just beyond imagination. And at this juncture, I'm going to welcome everyone who's watching us on Facebook and YouTube. And Ananya, everybody, I think, unanimously is saying that you are one brave woman. They're saluting you, they are appreciating you for the resilience that you have, the ideologies that you have, We have Shweta Sundar, Ila, Sneji, Mukeshji, Surakshaji, Harminder, and a couple of others I cannot see right now. All messages have gone up. But, you know, as you very rightly said, that many a time, in fact, I would say most of the times, it's always an untoward instance that happens in our life that brings in that shift. Until then, we have a happy go lucky kind of a life. And in class 8, where everybody is having fun, you were actually thinking about educating the kids who were younger to you, or bringing in that change, so that seed was sown much earlier in your life. Jahan aap, you were made like this. You were made to serve the society. You were made to serve the tribes, to make them rise. And that is why Ananya's journey, when I asked Ananya that, what should we title your journey? So she said, why don't you do it, Dee? I said, okay. So the only thing that came to my mind is that tribes shall rise when Ananya is going to be there by their side. That's all I could think for her. And it's not that Ananya doesn't go through her own ups and lows. There are days, weeks, and months that she doesn't get to be with her family. Where she's not even connected with them. They don't even know where she is. But she is in the thick and thin of things. And I have interacted with Ananya very closely, especially when the Assam was impacted by the floods. She felt helpless many a times, but she didn't leave hope. She relentlessly kept working to do so much for the society, for the tribals, to uplift them. And I think, Ananya, you actually hit the nail at the right place. Education. Education is the way that a mind, the mindset of an individual can be changed, right? uh, yes, Suraksha ji, very very traumatic to to go to see your father go through all the trouble, the health issues, to have been taken away. I'm sure none of us can even imagine or even fathom what you all as a family would have been through. And as Ananya said, that she lost her parents in a very short gap, one after the other. But Ananya was back at work because she knew that people out there are waiting for her, for the fee, for the granny. So Ananya, when they call you granny, the same set of people, that same area, which actually, with an unfortunate instance, changed your entire life. How does it feel to be called a granny at such a young age?
It just randomly started. I mean, the older people started calling me granny before, like people who were in their 80s or 80, like old people started calling me granny. I really don't remember when it started, but in this particular village, people started, I don't know what they felt in me, they started calling me Fi. And that's how it spread across the region, because probably I am someone, they feel that I'm an old soul. Like in the tribal community, you have these people who kind of knows a lot of things in terms of, mm, they can, I don't know, in the age of science and all, people don't tend to believe all this, but I do believe that I'm probably a very old soul, because every time I go to a tribal place, I feel I've come here before. Mm. So the thing is, they also feel the same for me. So when I started working, I did face some resistance in the beginning, because what happens is, in the tribal community they have their own set of belief systems, some sort of different cultures, and all of those, right? So to make them believe that you are creating an impact takes a lot of time. They need to believe you for what you do, and most of the people in that particular village knew that I am the daughter of that particular person whom they took away. So getting there and even trying to convince them that I'm here, and I don't need to, I'm just here to understand their culture, their way of life. I took almost 6 to 8 months to at least explain them what I'm trying to do. So it feels great because I think these are the same people who will, kind of, if I'm in trouble, this will be the same people who will be protecting me and have protected me over the years. Unfortunately, those incidents happened at that same place. I'm healing my trauma right now with all these things that happened. But when they call me with such respect, when every time I go to the village they wash my feet, I cannot overlook all this, right? So they kind of they've put me in a position where I cannot fail them. Okay, so the whatever incident happened before was primarily because they were being misguided by someone. They were being misguided from forces that are outside. They were forced to do things against the very own people that we are here in the country. So kind of insurgencies, political turmoil was done on purpose to create differences in people in the northeast. So I know that I have to. And moreover, one thing is for sure, I always believe in one thing. लाइफ में आपको जितना ज्यादा ऑप्शन रहेगा आपका लाइफ दिक्कत और भी ज्यादा बढ़ेगा. मेरे लाइफ में कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं था. आई नेवर हैड एनी ऑप्शन इन माय लाइफ other than standing up for my own people, because we were always some not mainland people didn't had an idea what northeast was going through. Okay, now over these years, 10 years, 15 years, people have really come to know through social media, news and all of those. But during those time, 80s, 90s, not many people knew what was happening in northeast. So I didn't had an option. So I would always say whatever I am doing, anyone can do it. Only because they have so much of options in life. They are not exposed to the situation that I am exposed with. There's a reason they cannot do it. Otherwise, if someone else was also in my place, they could have done it easily. Like you have to have very less option in life. जितना ऑप्शन कम है ना आपके पास, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपके पास बहुत कपड़े होंगे ना, तो आप रोज काम के लिए निकलोगे तो कौन सा पहनोगे उसमें कंफ्यूजन आ जाएगा. आपके पास 3 जोड़ा कपड़ा है तो आप एक को सूखने दोगे, एक को पहनोगे और एक को धोने डालोगे, है ना. तो आपके पास ऑप्शन ही नहीं है. तो आई सिंप्लीफाई माई लाइफ लाइक दैट. uh, uh, you know what, all my clothes, like 95% of my clothes are either gifted or are given by people, like pre-loved clothes. Okay, why I'm saying this, because आप लाइफ में कितना ऑप्शन कम रखोगे, आपके लिए रूटेड टू द ग्राउंड रहना बहुत इजी रहता है. You have if you are in a position of privilege, if you are in a position of choosing, that capability of privilege to choose your things makes you more inaccessible. आपके पास कोई रास्ता ही नहीं है तो वही रास्ता में चलते जाना पड़ेगा. And that's what I've been doing all these years.
Absolutely. You're very right in saying this, Ananya, that, the more we have, the more there is abundance, the value reduces. And I think, if that as a concept, each one of us understands, and since we are talking on a platform where we have predominantly parents, I think this as a understanding has to be passed on to our kids also, where if you bombard them with, or you lure them with so many things, they don't have value. And I think that is one thing that is a big miss in current time, where the whole value system is getting impacted because we have so much, you know everything is going haywire. And yes, you didn't have a choice, but I think it was also your destiny, which you actually drifted from the mainstream to this, because you had a choice to have perhaps gone, moved out of that place, pursued a career, whatever that you wish to, but you chose this. So I would say that you are the chosen one. You had to bring in this change for the tribal community, and they will rise with you, I am sure. Beautifully said about life, Take a bow, Ananya. True spirit to make others understand. Yes, they're all beautiful words coming for you, but they're not just words. They're actually emotions and sentiments that people are feeling when they are hearing you. You mentioned 147 learning centers. That's a big, big number. How has the journey been from the first to 147, from teaching under a banyan tree to now having these centers, and how many kids are a part of these centers?
See, the learning centers are like, it's all our learning centers are not made up of walls and rooms. Okay, so some of our learning centers are still run under the banyan tree. Some still are run in a makeshift tent. Some are still run in the Gramburas veranda. But yes, some now most of it are we have a space where we can do it. Like every community center is attached with a with a learning center is attached with a community center, so that the kids can stay back with their moms if they want to with us. And if they don't, if they, because coming every day to the center becomes very difficult to the forest. So if they're staying in one place and we give them food thrice a day, so what more they want? And also because we are also into sustainable livelihood mission, where we make a lot of organic products like soap, chocolates, candles. Then we weave different saris, stoles, different things. So these mothers are kind of engaged in all this. We have a community farming as well for the dads. We take space and plant do organic farming in terms of organic vegetables, paddy and all of those, and sell it in the local market. So it's also a kind of revenue for us, and also to feed so many people and run our schools. So that's how it's like that. And what we do is, in a village, in a particular village where we have a learning center, we train one person from the local tribes people itself, so that if some because these tribal villages are mostly in the restricted tribal area, so people from outside cannot come and operate there. So
Right, right.
and you need to have a knowledge of the local things. So what we do is we train one person from the village itself and ask him to teach in the learning center. So what happens is, he will be thinking, that person will be thinking, this is my people. I have to do something for my people and my community. And he tries to give his best. This has really worked for me. Never try to become a leader yourself. You have to create leaders. You
Wonderfully
have
said.
to, yeah, you have to give someone some kind of responsibility to see how it goes. So that's how we have been doing. We appoint people from the local villages, train them, and ask them to teach in the centers. And also if they need, we give them some kind of salaries. If they don't need, if they want to stay in in our community center, eat with us, be with us, and that's how it goes. So accordingly, we call them mentors. Accordingly, whatever they need, mentors. Some mentors think they should sometimes go back home in a different village wherever they are staying. So we even arrange their how to go back home. So according to the needs of the mentors, we just see that things are done. And also we make it very sure, and it is 100% we make it sure that the mentors are from the local community and not an outsider. Because when it is a local person, same from the same community and the same tribe, that the the trust level increases, the trust factor kind of gains. And also from the mentor's end also, he will think, this is my own people, so let me make some changes, let me create an impact. So that's how it goes from one place to another. And it keeps going. You just have to believe in three things: that your life is short, you have to create more and more leaders, because the space that I work, the domain that I work, is really really dangerous, is very close to the borders. So I know things are dicey sometimes. uh, so until unless I'm here, I have to create more people, army of people. If tomorrow something happens, that this the work keeps going. So we kind of replicate and keep on doing our things, because it shouldn't be something like if someone is not there, the work will stop. mm, it should go on. And because primarily my work is very close to the borders and things, untoward things tends to happen, I take one day at a time, so that even if I'm not around, uh, things will be easy for my people to carry on.
Okay, and let me absorb what you're saying, because no, nothing is going to happen to a good soul like you. We are very sure God is going to protect you. And all those lovely people who you are tirelessly working, they will all be there, protecting you, guarding you. All your guarding angels are going to be around you, Ananya. So don't say that. We want that you really do so much and more for these people. But what a brilliant concept. You are, you may run an NGO, you may have you're actually using your psychology training, you're using your your management understanding. You're like a true, in that sense of it, you're like a true businesswoman who is not just working because you need to uplift the tribal community, but you're actually working with a strategy. Beautifully said. Like I said earlier, you are not wanting to be their leader, you want to create more leaders, to have those mentors which are from the local community. I think if every organization works like this, where you actually groom the local people and get them to manage the whole affair, I don't think any business is ever going to fail. So that's a wonderful way of looking at things. And let me tell everyone, talking about the sustainability, talking about the business model that Ananya has put in place to kind of self sustain these education centers involving the mothers of these kids. They, whether it is sari or it is any other product, from jewelry to sari to craft work, I can personally vouch for the quality because I am also a buyer of those products. I have picked up a few saris for the love of saris that I have, and trust me, they are value for money, they are good quality, and you have that confidence that the product is coming from Tribal Connect. It will meet all the standards that it needs to. And I think rather than just giving everything on a platter, Ananya is trying to create that viable environment for the tribals to actually rise in life. So that is why we say what we say, that she is working to rise the tribes, and not just, you know she's not just educating them, she's not funding them, she's creating mentors, she's grooming them to be able to be sustainable, so that even if one day Ananya cannot reach that place because she is involved in her son's growing up, because she also plays a role of a mother and a wife, the tribal community can manage things on their own. How wonderful is that? And how many people who actually support think like this? And I think, Ananya, this is your core strength. You're not just trying to do this because you want to just kind of educate them. Education is one part. But if you cannot convert that education into something more meaningful, whether it is a shift in the mindset, it is about creating a livelihood, it is about them being able to live a life of dignity, I think you are doing all of that. One mission, but that encompasses so many things. And that's something that I love about you, about your thought process. But Ananya, I'm sure it's not been a cakewalk. It has been a bed of roses. It has been a bed of lot many thorns. Any incident that you would like to share where, it was like, this is it. ऐसा कभी कुछ हुआ जहां आपको लगा कि बस नाउ काइंड ऑफ अब मैं हूं कि नहीं हूं मुझे नहीं पता.
See, the thing is, it keeps happening. It kind of keeps happening when you're working in this domain. See, You are very close to the borders. You cannot always take army help, because they have their own exercises to do. You have to kind of be there, risking things. See, so it did happen a lot of times, but in like around 2012, yes, I escaped a massive thing. But you know what? I always feel there's no point in talking about all this, because the people who have done it are like, now are the mentors. So I've been I mean, there's no point of digging your past, because yes, it happens. You'll be thrown in the forest, you will be shot at, um, you will be left to die. But these are the same people who are your mentors now. These are the same people who are your backbones. These are the same people who call you granny. So I mean, I'm not saying कि ये अभी आगे भी नहीं होगा, but the thing is, I have seen a massive change in the community as a whole. I have seen the truth in their eyes. I have seen the feeling of guilt of doing certain things that they did in the past. So I feel I'm blessed that I lived to see all this. I could have been taken away. I could have been I could have been uh, matlab, could have happened anything that night, but I'm still here, still surviving, and मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि I'm here to see that they are changed with the efforts that have been taken, and they are doing great work now. And मुझे ऐसा कभी नहीं लगा that I have to give up on them, because they haven't given up on me. अ, नाराज है एक दूसरे से, कभी कभी नाराज होते हैं, समझ में नहीं आता है कैसे हैंडल करे सिचुएशंस, होता है कभी कभी अपने अपने किसके घर में झगड़ा नहीं होता है ना? घर में तो झगड़ा होता है तो थोड़ी ना हम बाहर वालों को जाके बोलते हैं, तो अपने आप में सुलझ लेते हैं ना। तो कुछ ऐसा ही स्थिति है, सिचुएशंस है कि सब अपने ही लोग हैं, थोड़ा टाइम लेके समझाने से समझेंगे, एंड समझ भी रहे हैं अभी। all these years they have come a long way, and I mean, I feel much safer now. But beginning में हुआ था ऐसा बहुत सारा, क्योंकि because my dad was taken away, and then a lot of probably she also has some agenda kind of thing. That's the reason that she's coming to our village, and people have different agendas. Okay, so this tends to happen. But then for me, मुझे एक ही पद पता है, मेरा पापा ने एक बात बोला था, she always used to tell me one thing: you cannot play a victim all your life. You cannot play a victim. रोना बंद करना होगा, रोक, you cannot go on saying people मेरे पापा को ऐसा हुआ, ऐसा हुआ, ऐसा हुआ, and people sympathize with you. You have to go and fight out there. So this is one thing my dad told me, and which I'm carrying with all my life. और मम्मी हमेशा बोलती थी कि घर का झगड़ा बाहर कभी नहीं लेके जाते हम। तो हम दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू। घर में
Mami,
दिक्कत है,
salute to you. And I
घर पे
intentionally asked you this question for all our viewers or all our members to actually understand that that is the transformation that Ananya has done, where someone who could harm them or harmed them today are mentors. Their life has changed. Who says that change doesn't happen? Change is the only thing which is constant, and we all need to change. I salute to your father to have said this. You cannot play the victim card always. You cannot fast crib. That is a choice that we make. Do we want to crib and fuss, or we want to learn and move ahead? And very rightly said by your mama also, कि घर की बात घर में रहनी चाहिए. We don't wash dirty linens outside. What has happened stays within the house. Yes, what you did to make it change, we talk about it, because that actually makes others also realize that yes, that transformation can happen. And Ananya, kudos to you कि कहते ना कि आपने ईवल को गुड में कन्वर्ट करके, कहते ना वो बुराई के जीत हासिल करके अच्छाई को जो आप सामने लेके आए हो, that is no less than magic that you have done. And I'm so proud of you, uh, to have known you, though for a very short while. But every time I speak to you, it is so inspirational. And now I'm going to bring in the Ananya mommy. So far, we were talking to the Ananya granny, the fee, who everybody calls her lovingly. But अब हम Ananya mama से बात करेंगे. Ananya has a teenage boy who I would say is following mama's footsteps to some extent. So Ananya, what did this young boy do to bring in another change and bring in that another sustainability that today he along with many other young kids are a part of your mission?
Actually, I have one biological son. Okay, so he is more into painting and all. बहुत अच्छा पेंट करता है वो. तो एक ऐसा सेंटर है. आई एम स्पीकिंग दिस, मतलब एक साल हो गया है. एक ऐसा सेंटर है जहाँ पे हम फंडिंग बहुत इश्यूज हो रहे थे हमारा. एंड ही वाज लाइक, I was running short of funds, and also because the kids were coming to the school, the kids were coming to the learning center, but their mothers also wanted to come and learn, especially the ladies. Okay, the dads also wanted to come. The whole village wanted to come to the learning center to learn precisely. Okay, and we didn't have that kind of funds. We didn't had that bigger space करने के लिए. So I was like, कैसा करना? Then Meet is his name. Meet came to my rescue saying that, Mama, जो paintings मैं करता हूँ, I have all of those. Let's try and put that on sale. So uh, we put that on sale in a local exhibition, and some through my own page. Mm, and all the paintings got sold. Not
Wow.
because probably not because probably he's a great painter, because probably people supported because uh, I think because of the cause. But then from that time to now, he has been constantly, I don't support this learning center, particular learning center, with only his paintings, and some other kids also started joining him. We put that on sale on a particular time of the year, and all the revenue that is collected goes to this particular learning center, where the whole of the village comes together. The mammas, the papas, the kids all come to learn. Mornings the kids will come, evenings the fathers and the mothers will come. So that's how it goes. And food is provided thrice. Okay. And every Sunday we will they will tell stories, the tribal stories, which will be documented by the mentor. So because these are mostly oral stories which are getting dying off, so we document them. So that's how this project came into place. And I'm glad that this particular center, uh, he's taking care of it, and
Wonderful. I think there is some connectivity issue at Ananya's end. While she joins back, hi, so you're the back. Young boy following his mama's footsteps, right? And making that school, that learning center, self sustainable through his painting. And yes, I'm sure that he's talented and people came forward to support. But I think what matters is the thought that Ananya, you as a mom, have sown into his mind, into his fertile mind, where he's thinking, he's recognizing the efforts that you are putting in, and how he came forward to support you and continues to support Ananya. So that's Ananya's son, and that's Ananya, the mommy here. But of course, Ananya also plays a role of a wife. So Ananya, you travel so much, you are away for days and weeks together, sometimes months, when you're not able to get back to home, your husband is in sync with you, he supports you for the endeavors that you do, or how does it work?
See, the thing is, you know what? You have to make the whoever it is, your spouses, your kids, you have to make them believe that you are on a mission. Once you make them believe that you are on a mission, things takes a easier way from there. Okay. So right now, see, now it's almost so many years now. So he only tells me only one thing. See, if you are coming back, come back in a full body. Like, don't come in piece. Okay. So it will be difficult for us to do the entire thing. So because I know you are not telling me, in some places where I visit, where I go for counseling, we have to sign a bond where they say the family members, under if there is a casualty, the family members will not be able to claim the body. So it had been a little difficult in the beginning to get him signed all this, but nowadays it is very easy. Just like matlab 1 hour or 2 hour before the flight, he will do it. He will do it. But the only thing constant that he says is, come in full, like come full. Don't come in come in pieces. Okay. So it will be. So that is one thing I always keep in mind, that I need to kind of be safe, and kind of have someone to return to. This is one thing. And second is, he has been a constant support, because our culturally also we are different. I'm a northeasterner, he's a south Indian, so culturally we are different. But then the amount of support system that he has given, also when my parents passed off, uh, you won't believe, this is like, when my mom expired, I did the kriya karma, everything, because I don't have a brother, so all the son's kriya karma, everything I did. Next day, what happens is my dad again gets a brain stroke, and then he gets admitted in the ICU next day of my mother's passing off. And he was there in the ICU with my dad, my husband, and I was in the village taking one woman to the hospital because she was about to be delivering a baby. So there's a collective teamwork you have to do, and you have to make them believe that क्या भी हो जाए एक ही पीस में आएंगे. ये आप कन्विंस कर दोगे ना, तो things will fall in place.
नहीं, आई एम श्योर सबकी विशेस आपके साथ है कि आप हमेशा वन पीस में ही घर आएंगी. And but very very creditable कि आप सब as a family, you talk about this in a laughing way, because it definitely sometimes becomes a matter of concern when they cannot connect with you, when the connectivity is poor, they don't even know where you are, in what situation or in what condition you are. But hats off to you all as a family, to support each other, to do so many things for the betterment of the
Most of
tribal community.
the time, 90% of the time, they don't know where I am. Okay, 90% of the time, because uh, I'm not supposed to, kind of kind of tell them where I am, but they know. Like, after, if 5 days I'm not contacting back home, means there is a trouble. So that way we keep a track. 5 days, then we have to kind of seek help from the local agencies, seek help from the army. So they also, as a family, know how to go about it. So we are just like, see, we don't have uniforms, okay? But we are also trained like soldiers. So that's that you you have to keep you have to keep that kind of guts to believe that you can make a change, and things will be easier then.
Wonderful. So the protocols are set कि अगर 5 दिन तक अनन्या से कोई खबर नहीं मिलती है, तो then her husband and her son have to reach out to the local agency to find out where this wonderful woman is. Ananya, absolutely lovely talking to you. And I think what Ila wrote, that every time she speaks to you, she is richer. I think I completely agree with what she says. Harminder has been saying, proud of you, Ananya ji. Hats off to you. And you know, I still have goosebumps. I'm really trying to absorb and internalize all that you have shared. To have been through your own challenges and yet standing tall to make a community rise is commendable. I think I fall short of words to say, I don't know what should I say, but all I can do is clap for you, salute you. If we were in a offline environment, perhaps do a standing ovation and bow down to you for all the good work that you're doing. We are so proud of you, and Motherhood Club is, you know, delighted to be, connected with you, and little bit work that we are able to do with you in the tribal community. It's our privilege. Maybe, this was also destined where we get an opportunity while we are far away. You are in the thick and thin of things. But absolutely superb talking to you, bringing out your journey for all our members. But before I let you go, what is that one piece of advice that you'd like to give out, irrespective of the gender? That what is your life's philosophy?
There is nothing a human being can, cannot do. Okay, so mm, just go for it. I mean, if you think you need to write a book, write a book. If you think you need to go and go and travel the world. Make it possible for yourself. If I can do it, I think anyone can do it. And uh, you know, the basic thing is you have to be, you have to believe in yourself, because most of the time what happens is, I'll tell this in very short. Most of the times I'm very short. Okay, most of the time people tell me in a lot of interviews, you're so short and you're so petite and so small. How you, where do you get this guts from? So if someone like me can do it, uh, anyone can do it. I'm very sure of it. And please create a generation of people who will be your torch bearer after you are gone, because we are not going to leave the whole time, right? So please raise up a gang of people, your kids, who you think of before you go, you can be proud of, that you are leaving the planet on a on safe hands. Bring up, because this is a motherhood club and I assume there are a lot of parents here. Bring up a kid who can stand up for the community, who can clearly differentiate between right and wrong, and can give back to the community. It's not money always, it's time, resources, it's the love we give back to our own communities. Only then, as a human race, probably we can survive all that is happening around the world right now. Otherwise, I see no hope if we don't bring up a generation of people, like leaders, who can really keep the world safer. Otherwise, बहुत मुश्किल है, बहुत दिक्कत है.
Bilkul, sahi kaha. So believe in yourself. There is no such thing that a human cannot do. Just believe in yourself. Go for it. Do it. Create a legacy for all the good work that you're doing. Create that value system so that the upcoming generation can actually take forward the value system, the ethics, the humanity, and just about all the good things in life. And Ananya may say that she is short, but that's just for her height, not for her thoughts. She is tall, much taller than many of the people who we would know. I'm also short, by the way. So it doesn't matter, Ananya, whether we are short, tall, fat, thin, dark, fair. What matters is how do we think? And you think amazingly well. Your ideologies are wonderful. The values that your parents have inculcated in you and being passed on to the next generation by creating mentors out of those people who at one point in time were willing to harm anyone, including you yourself and your family, is outstanding. So continue to do the amazing work, and we are so proud to have you on Feature Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, every member who comes on Feature Friday raises the bar and makes us feel absolutely inspired to continue to bring in more such people. So thank you, Ananya, for being here and
You.
making that impact on
Absolutely,
all of us.
absolutely my pleasure, and keep doing the good work. I'm so thankful and full of gratitude that you have kind of given me this space, such a beautiful space to voice out of the things that I truly believe in, and I'm like supremely grateful to this community of parents, everyone out here. Iladi, Ekta and there uh, Pooja is there, and then you have Monica, right? Everyone, and the whole team and the whole community. I'm so grateful that you've taken time out for to hear a story of an ordinary woman out there who is trying to like create a little bit of impact in the community, because time is very precious. So taking out time to hear me out, I'm absolutely privileged, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
एक ordinary nari ko keh rahi hu is actually extraordinary and outstanding. Thank you so much, Ananya, for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, just 2 more days for our independence. We will be celebrating the Amrit Mahotsav, the 75th Independence Day at Motherhood Club on 14th August at 5 p.m., where we will be having some amazing performances, remembering our freedom fighters, our martyrs, for all those people who fought for our country. So do join us at 5 p.m. If in case you wish to perform, you wish to share your thoughts, do connect with Ila Pachori or myself, and see you live at 5 only at Motherhood Club platform. Till then, take care, stay safe. This is Ekta Sehgal Malhotra, founder and chief strategy officer of Motherhood Club, signing off for today. Bye bye. Take care.